The stock of the day is brought to you by IG, Australia's #1 CFD provider. Trade over 17,000 markets with extended trading hours on key US shares and competitive spreads, all on an award-winning platform. Get started at IG.com.
Let's get into then one of those stocks that are moving. It is our stock of the day, Deep Yellow. And it is lower as it reported for the 6 months to the end of December 2025. The uranium miner has reported a first half loss of around 7.8 million. The counter gains from foreign currency translation losses narrow at around 800,000. Meanwhile, revenue was 4 million for the 6 months, lower from the 6.9 million in the previous period, as adding that it expects the uranium market to strengthen in the near term. Now, this is Deep Yellow has an asset base, including the Tumas project in Namibia and Mulga Rock project in WA. And in fact, it's got a new chief executive. I think it began the beginning of February. Adam, uranium. I know you've liked this in the past, but look, it's another one of those subsectors that has been hit hard more recently. What are you thinking of it more broadly and specifically, of course, Deep Yellow?
Yeah, I mean, at first glance, is always stick with the quality, Andrew, and certainly Deep Yellow doesn't scream quality for me, going forward. I think overall, the market's a little bit perplexed about their final investment decision for the Tumas mine. So I think that you've got to be a little bit careful. They've now extended that FID decision out until sort of October, even potentially December this year, which is just going to mean that the stock is going to sit in limbo and is really not going to happen or not really going to do too much, going forward until they can make those final investment decisions on what they're going to do. And I certainly think that there are better quality uranium stocks out there. UBS just initiated coverage on a couple of uranium stocks today, so that's probably giving a little bit of a push into that. And then one of them was NextGen, and certainly that is one of the top picks that we've got in that story. Now, that's, again, that NextGen is still probably another 3 years away from production kind of thing. So there's still a lot of water to go under the bridge. But when you've got this massive deposit in Canada, you'll see the likes of BHP, Cameco and Rio, or potentially some of these bigger boys wanting to have a little bit of a nibble at it going forward as well. So for me, Deep Yellow is a sell. I don't think you need to be there. You've got to stick with the quality. NextGen or even Paladin are two better uranium stocks that I'd have in my portfolio over Deep Yellow at the moment.
All right, Junbei, would you agree there are better places to be if you're chasing uranium?
Yes, we agree. Look, I think NextGen, I love NextGen. I think NextGen gives you much better exposure, to the uranium. And I agree with Adam. I do think, uranium is going to become a very important part of our future energy security, right, source. So, I think it's, just pick a good one and keep in the bottom drawer. And, NextGen is certainly the one to be. Deep Yellow, look, the company needed to raise capital, from last year. And now they have to push out the FID decision and everything else. They haven't got enough money. They need to raise capital. I don't know why they didn't raise last year. I think just maybe around the time when, every other uranium company raised money, they missed it. So now they have to tell the market, actually, they're not raising money, but they do need to. So I think that's a challenge. Exactly like Adam said, they're stuck, until they raise money. Everyone know they will raise. And all the, usually these type of businesses, when you raise money, it's quite a big discount. So cost of equity is high. So yeah, I think they just need to pull the trigger. So I wouldn't be in there. I think there's just better place to be for uranium exposure.
All right, we'll call it a double sell then for our stock of the day. Deep Yellow.
The stock of the day was brought to you by IG. Trade over 12,000 shares and ETFs, including major tech giants with extended hours on an award-winning platform. Get started at IG.com.